I'd like to talk about some additional roles that I see us providing and talk about some examples that we've done since I've been here and some things we'll be looking at moving forward. Number one, I see the library as a tremendous cultural center. It's a place where people can come together. It's a place where everyone comes through our doors, no matter what walk of life you're from. And that can provide some amazing opportunities to connect people with each other. A program that I won one of those awards for, which you never guess if you'd heard a description of it, we started doing in 2005 a bad movie program, like B movies, like Godzilla type movies, things like this. On the first Friday of the month, it was called Phantasmo, and I ran that for 7 years, and it's still going on to this day. And every month, people would come into that auditorium and start talking about bad movies. And I'm talking everyone. College professors, the mayor came to this program regularly, parents and children. It was unbelievable. And they would interact with each other. And these are people who would never come across each other in any other, for any other reason usually. And it was really amazing to watch it happen and for this community to kind of form. I thought, this is pretty incredible. And over bad movies, no less. And we got an award for it. It's ridiculous. But it was a wonderful, amazing program. So, I started trying to model programs around it and to have elements of them where people could learn and interact with each other. And we've been doing a little bit of that since I've gotten here. We did actually start a movie program called Unscripted, which has now had 2 series. We show short films. We've done it in the fall, and we did one this summer. And it highlights local filmmakers predominantly. We have some people who come over from Indiana to do some screenings. But what they do is they come in, they screen their movie, and then they talk to the audience, and the audience talks with each other. It's a great interaction. And again, it's a really broad selection of folks from our community who come into this, and the topics of the movies are all over the place. It can be anything from documentary to drama to comedy to mystery, you name it. And we partnered with another local filmmaker here named PJ Starks to do this, and he helps us coordinate with the filmmakers. They come in, and we really have a great time. In the second series, which we did over the summer, we actually started bringing in local musicians to perform and open up the show, and that's also added another element, which is really nice. Another big one, which is actually in the programs, I'm sorry if I didn't have enough, is called Road to Victory, World War II Remembered. We started doing that this summer. It's a program that's meant to highlight the experiences of World War II veterans from the community, and we're doing interviews with them individually, and we're also having panel discussions on weekends, and our last one is coming up this weekend on Saturday from 2 to 4. We're highlighting the home front. And it's been a really fantastic program. It's allowed us to preserve the memories of these folks while we still can, so that what they remember is never forgotten. And it's really a wonderful way, again, to connect with the community. And these panel discussions, again, provide opportunities for people to interact with each other. We have the audience. We provide them the ability to ask questions of the veterans during the panel discussions, although we do have moderators too asking questions to the vets, but it's been really fantastic. We also have regular author visits. We started doing musical performances this summer, highlighting local artists, and are going to be doing like coffee house type programs in October where we have local artists come in and perform music, kind of in an intimate setting. We also started doing a teen zone last January, and we had this basically empty lounge that was really not serving much of a purpose. We'd occasionally do children's programs in there once a week or twice a week, but beyond that it was just kind of sitting idle for people just to wander in and out of. But we had this huge teen population coming in every day after school, right next to a high school. And so we thought, wow, this would be a great opportunity. So we made that available just to teens from 3:30 to 5:30 every afternoon during the school year, and we started up again. And it was a hit right off the bat. They go in there, play video games, watch movies. This year we're adding programming to it where we're going to have speakers come in and talk about topical interests and hopefully do some neat things in there. We also want to try and get them involved in making movies and music so they can learn some computer skills and editing skills and kind of stretch their creative muscle as well. So, and that's also another opportunity for them to interact with each other and with us. We also started another program called From Your Imagination, which I think you probably got an email, maybe a contact about downloading an app. If you didn't, it's called DCPL FYI, and if you have a smartphone or a tablet, you can download it on Google Play or the iTunes Store. And what this is, we have a virtual gallery in our library. One of the issues with our library is we have some space issues. We don't have a lot of open spaces or open walls. So one of the things I thought we need to do is to have art in the library, but again, there's not a whole lot of space to do that. So we started looking at solutions, and what we came up with was using a virtual technology to display art on our walls. And what we actually have empty frames on our wall. And it's a mini gallery, and what this app does is it allows you to take the app, open it up, hold your smart device in front of the frame, and then an image will appear in the frame. And it can be anything. It can be art, it can be audio, you can go to our library catalog and check out a book. We can make it be whatever we want it to be. The example I have, if you download the app later, on those flyers, if you scan the front cover with Uncle Sam, what will happen is one of our veteran interviews that we've done so far will come up, and you'll hear a World War II veteran and see a World War II veteran talking about his experiences. So I encourage you after this program to download that if you haven't already, and if you have a Wi-Fi connection, or as long as you have some kind of wireless access, you can then launch the app, hold it in front of that image, and the interview will pop right up. It's an amazing technology, and we can use it in any number of ways. And one of the things I hope to do is to start branching this out into the community and having frames out in the community where we might have like a frame at a coffee shop, and you can go in there and scan the frame and download an audio book. I mean, you can do anything with it. Right now we have a gallery up in Emerging Ventures, which is a small business startup company here in town, and they have a virtual gallery that we help them put up in their building. But it's really a neat program, and it again allows us to do more with our building and provide that kind of cultural piece that we're looking to do. So that's one. Partnerships is another one that I really think is a great opportunity for libraries to engage more in than they have traditionally. And the library, like I said, is a place where anyone can walk through our doors and connect with each other. And that doesn't just go with individuals, it goes with our patrons connecting with organizations in our community. An example I'll give, and I'll list several that we've done. We're looking this fall to start up a seed library, and that's where you can come in and actually check out seeds to go grow plants. And we're partnering with our master gardeners and the Western Kentucky Botanical Garden to make this happen, because I'll tell you right now, I'm the exact opposite of a green thumb. So we need all the help we can get. So they're coming in to help us with this, and what's going to happen is, in addition to them helping us identify the types of seeds we should use to do this and how to orchestrate the program, they're also going to offer learning opportunities, classes where people can come and get the basics of gardening. And so in doing this, not only do we provide a service to patrons where they can come in and check out seeds and take them and grow plants, but we also allow the master gardeners and the botanical garden to get the word out about what they do as well. There may be people that come into our library who would never venture out to the botanical garden, but this is a way for them to connect with each other. Some other examples where we've done this so far. Last fall we did a program with the Theater Workshop of Owensboro where we partnered with them. They were putting on Dracula in October, and we used actually our virtual technology to do a program with them. Well, we had a Dracula scavenger hunt throughout the building where the actor who played Dracula did readings of trivia questions that led them throughout our collection. And basically you take that app, launch it, scan these plaques, and he would come alive and start talking to them and asking them questions as Dracula. It was pretty wild. They also did what's called the Living Library for us, where we actually allowed patrons to check out the characters. So the actors came in one afternoon, and folks could come in and check them out as Dracula, as Renfield, as Van Helsing, and sit down with them for 15 minutes and talk about either A, what it's like to put on a stage production, or B, what's it like to be Dracula. And it was pretty great. We're also a partner with the Museum of Science and History. Coming up, we have Voices of Elmwood, which we've been doing several years with them. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's a tour of our local Elmwood Cemetery. And there are actors who portray notable individuals who are buried in the cemetery on a wagon tour. And we do the research piece of that with our local history room and help them produce scripts. And this year we're doing the virtual component with them. We're going to do a scavenger hunt through the building using Elmwood characters to help promote the program, and also teach folks about some of the individuals who will be on the tour. And they're also going to use it at the museum to highlight artifacts that they have. We've partnered with the YMCA here. We have been doing programs with them this past year highlighting the county's Smart 911 effort. We've been signing up seniors, the Smart 911 program, which if you don't know what that is, it's to help first responders get more information about the individuals using their smartphone information. We also partner with them to do summer day camp activities during the summer when they have a very large influx of participants. This fall we're also doing a techno fair, and that's where we'll have local businesses from the community throughout our building talking to our patrons about technology. And that's going to be a pretty interesting and first time event. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're partnering with the Human Relations Commission, and we're going to start doing monthly multicultural programs with them. And of course the local schools, and we're going to help, and we do help in providing programs for them and support for their curriculum. So those are some partnerships that we have going, and to me, the more of those that we can have, the better, because again, it allows us to connect our patrons and our citizens with organizations and activities in our community. So another piece that is going to be a big factor for us coming forward is technology. That's another area that's sort of new for libraries within the past decade or so with the advance of the internet, and it just keeps becoming more and more a focus. And in the case of Daviess County Public Library, wireless access is a huge issue. We are having to improve our wireless this year because of our heavy usage. Our wireless increased 38% in usage this past year, and we only have 8 access points in our building, and we're looking to expand that this fall to 27, so there'll be no dead areas in our building. So anywhere you go, you'll be able to connect to the wireless. And this is particularly important as we launch new services such as ebooks, electronic magazines, electronic databases, downloadable music, the virtual wall. All these sorts of things require wireless, so we have to improve that in order to offer these services to our patrons. And in relation to that, we started offering iPad checkouts this past year, which has been a success, and people can use that to use our resources, browse the internet, look at the virtual wall, and any other kind of exhibits that we have up using virtual technology. Additionally, we're going to be adding laptop checkout this year using a laptop kiosk. If you've ever been in our building, one of the challenges, like I mentioned before, is space, and as you come in the door, you'll see 2 banks of computers where people can get on and surf the internet. And that was a great solution when the building was built, but as mobile has taken hold, it's now easier to free people up from having to sit at fixed stations. And what we hope to do this year, by adding that laptop kiosk, is take out 1/2 of that so we can start using that for comfortable seating areas, more book displays, and really allow patrons to choose where they go in the building so that we're not telling them, hey, you have to sit next to this person while you're writing your report or surfing the internet or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. It really is going to be a more comfortable environment and give our patrons more choice. And finally, tying into that is creating community spaces. A library should be an inviting and welcoming space. And it should be a place where people can come and relax, meet with friends, browse books, whatever it is that they're looking to accomplish. And by being able to free up those spaces and taking out the computers, adding more comfortable seating and displays, I think we'll be able to accomplish that. The Teen Zone is another way of creating a community space. I'd also like to see going forward creating more interactive areas for children. Right now we have a really nice programming room where people can come and hear story times, but we don't have a lot of interactive things for children to use. Like, for example, this week we were looking at actually a light bright wall and having a place where children can come and play and do, if you remember light brights, create images using a light wall. There's some really fantastic things going on in libraries like that where it's kind of like children's museums, if you've ever been in those. It stimulates children's learning, and we hope to be able to do some of that in the library. And maker spaces is another thing. If you've heard of that trend, that's a big hot spot for libraries right now, offering things like 3D printers and creation tools that folks can come in and use. just to talk about 3D printers for a moment, if you haven't heard too much about those, what it allows you to do, you can basically create an object on the computer using design software, and then there will be a printer which will actually physically print out the object. And these are becoming more and more prevalent in libraries because it allows, again, these opportunities for people to come together and interact. You can get folks who know how to use the software, folks who want to build something that they have in their minds, and they can come together and create something and print it out and have a creation, basically. People are using this to start businesses in the world. In the libraries, it's kind of getting your feet wet and letting people know this technology exists, here's what it can be used for. And I hope we can do some of that in the Daviess County Public Library. The last thing I'll talk about is upcoming programs, because I know there was an interest in hearing what we have coming forward. I've talked about some of them. The Voices of Elmwood program that I mentioned before, that's coming up in October with the virtual tour and the actual tour in the cemetery. We have several authors coming up in October. The Techno Fair, which I mentioned, that's on October 26th. The Seed Library will launch this fall. A third series of Unscripted will take place in February. And another one that I'm really excited about is an e-publishing program that I hope to launch this fall as well. I'd started doing it at Chesapeake just barely before I came to Owensboro. And what this is it's a program that allows us to connect with local authors. Right now, self-publishing and e-publishing is exploding. Obviously, e-books have really become a phenomenon. But in addition to publishing houses accessing this, you can now go online to Amazon and publish your own book. I mean, this has existed for a while, self-publishing, but it's never been more accessible. But one of the tricks for these self-published authors is getting their name out there. It's all fine and good to write a book, but if no one knows about it, it's not so good. So what I hope to do is connect with local authors and give them the tools they need and the education they need to know how to self-publish and use e-publishing software. And beyond that, also to give them a venue where they can come in and talk about what they've done, basically book talks for local authors. And my grand scheme is to hook up with other local libraries, maybe throughout the state, and create maybe a circuit where they can go through and talk to different communities about what it is they're doing beyond their own local community. So that's another thing I'm looking to do this fall and kind of get up and running. That's really all I have, but I'll just say it again. My underlying philosophy for libraries and my rallying cry is what can a library be for their community, and I encourage any of you to go back to your libraries throughout Kentucky and let your libraries know that you want them to be thinking about what they can be for your community as well.